Are you ready to become awesomer? Hello everyone, this is Umar Hamid, your host, and welcome to the No Limit Selling Podcast, where industry leaders share their tips, strategies, and advice on how to make you better, stronger, faster. Get ready for another episode. Hello, everyone. Today I have the privilege of having Anthony Marguleas here. He is the founder of Amalfi Estates. Anthony, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you having me on the phone.
Brilliant. So I'm so excited to talk to you because you made the transition about 15 years ago from being just a general realtor to kind of specialize in, luxury homes. So what was going on at that point that made you decide to make that shift?
Yeah, a good question. We actually were buyers only, which is a really unique. We are exclusive buyers agents, so we did not take listings. The company was called AM Realty at the time, and we basically went through a rebranding process. Like anything, change happens, and it's a little hard and challenging and scary. One of my top agents had actually left said, "Hey, I'm going to be leaving our firm unless you start taking listings because you're turning away a lot of business." We referred out almost $100 million in listing referrals. Did not ask for a referral fee because ethically I wanted to refer to other agents without having a monetary compensation behind it. And then with that agent leaving our firm, it kind of gave me the impetus to say, let's expand our services, rebrand in the luxury market space. So we rebranded from AM Realty to Amalfi Estates, and we did new logos and new marketing. Basically everything in our entire company was rebranded, and it was probably the best decision we've ever done.
So there had to be, like you said, change is scary for a lot of people. So certain members of your team probably said, this is a great idea. We want to do it at a superficial level, but on a practical kind of internal level, that may not have been the case. So did you have some team members that needed more hand-holding than others?
We did. It's interesting. I think when you give people more data, they seem to feel a lot more comfortable with it, and explain, the benefits. I'm a high C. If you know that you must be familiar with the DISC assessment being in your business. But
I slipped my disc, but yes, I am familiar.
What did you say about the DISC? You split it?
I slipped it. A back joke. I'm sorry.
Oh. So I'm more of an analytical, more of a data guy, which is unusual in real estate. Most real estate are very social, very outgoing. I just happen to level out of stats, charts, and numbers. So I'm always good about finding the data, and I think that helped transition the team over. But I mean, one of the things that was hard was we made a conscious effort to really focus on the luxury, and so that would mean, in some ways, turning down business on the entry level, or maybe it was low end rentals, or just things in different price points, because we really wanted to be the specialist with the luxury marketplace. And it takes time to build that, by rebranding and marketing, and the clothes you wear and the cars you drive, and we joined charity boards, and we joined just a lot of different local events. There's a polo tournament, and we sponsored different golf tournaments. So it was really just a conscious effort to really focus on a higher end price range and really be intentional about it.
One of the things that's kind of interesting is a lot of realtors that get a certain level of success find themselves, hey, I need to get a team together. And one of the things you mentioned earlier in our conversation was a lot of realtors are very kind of social people, but they don't make good CEOs, because a lot of CEOs are, get to the facts, here's the data, here's what we need to do. So in the generalities, people that lead companies can see further past the horizon, and they're very driven by the data. And that's kind of describes you. So your thoughts on just general real estate firms when you get someone that decides they want to build a team, and they build a team and they get a certain level of success but don't reach the levels they should. Any thoughts on that comment?
It's a really, you nailed it. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. And I think that the sign of a good leader is to bring in people that complement your skill set. So we brought in the last 6 months a director of sales and operations, and he's amazing. He's built up other teams. And right now, we currently right now have a team of, well, before he joined us, we had a team of 5. We call them sales partners rather than agents on our team, because they're allowed to work with buyers and they also work with sellers and take listings. But our goal is to hire 20 additional sales partners, and we've hired 4. And we're averaging about 1 a month, and he's been an
Nice.
integral part of that process because his skill set is so well suited to that. And I knew that really wasn't my specialty.
So, Anthony, every company on planet Earth has a culture, whether they realize it or not. And many of the cultures are hostile or complacent or not what they want it to be, regardless of what they have written on the wall. So, how would you describe the culture you've built before, when you were just like a 5-person team? How would you describe that? And more importantly, how are you going to make sure that you kind of maintain that culture as you grow? Because as you grow, that becomes a challenge.
Yeah, great question. We hired a business coach about 5 years ago, and they help us put together core values, which we actually have on the wall of our office, really large letters. And our core values is really what we live by. And what our coach is always telling us is you really hire and you fire by your core values. And it's a fascinating thing because once someone really breaks one core value, they really break probably half, if not more of them. So, our core values, for example, are take responsibility for your actions and be exceptional and create amazing client experiences and carry yourself professionally at all times and make a positive impact in the community. So, if someone, for example, isn't being honest or if they do something that's in the detriment of the client, they're breaking several of our core values. So, it's very easy, if we're trying to make a decision, even if it's a top producer. I've had some really, really um, strong life learning lessons. I had to let one of our top real estate producers go because they were in violation of our core values, and it set a model, an example for the team, Umar, that it said to them, look, even though how much money this person's bringing in, they're your top salesperson, but they're in violation of your core values. Your core values supersede any financial gain that you're getting from your company.
Anthony, let me kind of probe here a little bit, if I may. The core values you described, all amazing. Like, who, other than Satan, would say, they're really bad values? Like, pretty much everyone would say, oh my God, that's amazing. I want that. Fair statement?
Yes, I believe so.
And there's going to be some people that really embrace it and live and breathe it. So, how do you get those core values that everybody looking at it on a wall would say, yeah, that's pretty amazing? But how do you get it instilled in their being so they actually live it and breathe it? Because there is like a bridge that needs to be crossed.
Yeah, so a couple things. One, these aren't core values that I dictated as the owner of the company. These are core values that were created as a whole team. And so they have ownership of these core values. We also read these core values at each of our Monday meetings. And we also have one sales partner pick one of those core values that another team member has and has demonstrated that week. So it's not them talking about themselves. Look how
That is
exceptional
me
I am.
applauding you, Anthony. That is awesome because I think that getting one team member to recognize something real and capturing that story becomes a living, breathing manifestation of those values that makes it real for your team. So good for you.
Yeah, and Umar, one of the things that we do, we look for people, agents that are, and most important, that are coachable, that are humble, and that are hungry. Because what we
So let's
found,
back up. I'm going to stop you right there, if I may.
yeah, no problem.
How do you figure out someone's coachable?
We go through a very detailed interview process. So we have a 4-step interview process, and one of the steps in the interview process is going through questions that would lead us to find out if they're really coachable. Because I think somebody who basically, like, every day I'm learning. I've done this for almost 30 years. I've helped 1,000 clients. I've sold close to $2 billion in real estate, and every single day I'm searching and yearning for new knowledge about real estate, about people, about how to improve. And a lot of times you get a new person who's been in real estate a couple of years, and they almost have a know-it-all attitude. And those aren't the type
Yes.
of people that really resonate with our company. We want the ones that are going to be humble and not have check their ego at the door.
Brilliant. And, my highest value is learning cool stuff. That just turns me on big time.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I can't wait to tell everybody. And I'm sure some of my friends get tired. All right, enough. Chill, take a chill pill.
I bet you read a lot. I bet you read a lot of books and listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. So, Anthony, it's one of the things you mentioned was, we had our team, we had a consultant, we really thought about who we were and what we wanted to do. And we came up with these values. And the reason they're following those is, they came up with it, they were invested in it. But now you're looking for new people to join your team. And there's a set of issues come up when you have 20 people or 30 people. And any thoughts on how would you know things aren't going exactly as you want? Like, what are the early warning signs you'd look for that we need to do something?
So because we're really big on the metrics, we're really big on benchmarks, we're really big on accountability. And so we have daily role plays. We have
Nice.
we set up a certification system. I believe we're one of the only companies around that has set this up. So it's all been branded and done internally, where we have a certification system. One is a certification system for getting online leads, and it's a rating system. So all the calls are recorded, and how was their presentation, and did they go and ask about the motivation? Did they ask about the location? How was their customer service score? And we rate and rank that, and they have to have a certain score for them to be allowed to talk to the online leads. And we also have a certification system set up for the first meeting with the client, and we have a certification for writing an offer and for open houses. Now, we can't do open houses right now because of COVID. It's been canceled for 6 months, but once we do. And then we have a certification system for listings, because the thought was, it's great. They get a real estate license, and you do role plays, and you pay all this money for leads, and you give it to these agents, but you don't know where in the process that maybe they're missing out on. And so this
Brilliant.
certification system has been incredibly beneficial to strengthen our systems.
I love it. I'm not sure if you saw this in the announcement from Amazon last week, I think, for the new products they're bringing out. One of the devices they were launching was this drone for within your house that patrols your house looking for problems. And if an intruder comes, it confronts them. It's not menacing, but it's taking video footage of them. And did you come across that at all?
I did not, but it sounds pretty cool.
It does sound cool. And I was wondering if that would be great for realtors. It's like, we're going to release your drone, Mr. Prospect, and I'll have my drone there, and we'll actually see the house together as we go down without spreading
Yeah, I'm a
COVID.
little big brother, Amar, but it does
Isn't
sound
it?
interesting. Yeah, it does sound pretty cool.
Anthony, one of the things that really impressed me about what you're doing is certainly, talk is cheap and making money is, important. But one of the things that you've been doing for a while now is giving 10% back to charities that need it. What brought that on, and how do you get your team to embrace it?
Yeah, thank you for asking. That's really been a core to our company. And, when we interview people, a lot of agents will ask, what is your commission split? First question. And the
Yes,
question we always answer back is, it's not so much your commission split, it's what you really take home, one. And then two, it's really, giving back to the community. And what we found is a lot of millennials and a lot of Generation Z, really, it's so important, especially with the environment and what's going on in the world today, to be part of something bigger than themselves. And so about 5 years ago, we started, actually 6 years ago now, started giving back, and we actually hired a charitable business consultant and put together a business plan and picked a charity from each major component. So we have one for kids, Make-A-Wish, we have one for pets, we have one for health, American Cancer Society, we have one for local, which is Homeboy Industries. And so we have five different ones in each category. We're starting an environmental one to give back to the environment. And we let our client pick. And, it's not easy. I mean, 10% is a lot of money, and the average real estate agent in the country gives probably about $50 to $75 per transaction. Our firm gives on average about 7,000, and so it's a big commitment.
It's significant, yeah.
But we really believe in it, and to know that we've helped, we approximately, in addition to the 100 families a year we help selling homes, we also help an additional 250 families through the charitable giving. And it's just so, it's almost selfish because you feel so good by helping these charities. I don't want to say it's self-serving, but you feel so amazing helping.
So I heard this thing the other day, Anthony, that I just loved hearing it. This was the quote or the thought. Let's say you were saying this to your significant other. The love I give you is secondhand because I get to feel it first.
I love that.
Isn't it? And that's kind of what you're describing is the act of giving really gives ourselves such a great gift. Yeah. So I wanted to share this thought with you that just blew me away. We were talking about learning stuff. I was doing a podcast with a gentleman who runs a university degree in sales, being professional salespeople. And he was talking about this next generation of kids coming into his class. And I was thinking, a bunch of entitled, lazy SOBs is what I was thinking. And he was saying, and he goes, these kids are totally amazing and they're like super hardworking. They don't take anything for granted. And he's just describing this creature. And it's like, wait a minute, pause right there. What do you mean? Why is this happening? He said that when we had the financial crash in 2007, 2008, these kids were 7 or 8 years old at a very kind of place that's impressionable. And what that did was that they were seeing their parents losing jobs. They were losing their homes. And they got a Depression era mentality that is like, I don't take anything for granted. I'm not entitled. You got to work hard. You got to make it happen. And the reason I share that with you and the listeners is that's an unexpected outcome because their older siblings were older and didn't get impacted in the same way. They weren't that impressionable. The younger ones were too young, but there was that band of people that went through that just turned out to be super strong, super powerful. And the question I have for you is this. What do you think is going to happen to our kids that are 6, 7, 8 going through the pandemic and going through this experience? And one of the theories I have is there is a lot of hardship. There's also family dinner time and family's important. So I wonder what that outcome is going to be. Any thoughts?
It's a really good question. I think every hardship strengthens people. And I think, for a long time there, whether it's, you call them helicopter moms or parents that are overly protective, trying to fix their kids' problems. With the cell phone now, they can pick up the phone and anytime there's an issue, they can call their parents and say, how do I fix that? Or fix it for me. And so, my hope is with things that are difficult or challenging, it really is a sign of, we're all going to get knocked down, whether it's a job or whether it's school or whether it's a relationship. And the trick is how you recover from those obstacles. And really, hopefully with the pandemic, it's taught a lot of people to be resilient and the importance of non-material things, hopefully, and more family things. I think my hope, I see a lot of our clients, they want bigger yards for their kids and they want, things that really are more related to their family, and they picked up more hobbies, and they've, things that, hopefully we're going to translate into a better family life.
Brilliant. Anthony, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm looking forward to our next.
Thank you. Thanks, Umar. Take care.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.